For months, Amazon did everything they possibly could. They were desperate to try to change the narrative surrounding Rings of Power. They went to the media and asked for help. They went to influencers and asked them for help. And at the end of the day, none of it worked. So finally, they fell back to what we've seen everybody in the entertainment industry do over the past several years. Hey, if you don't like this, it's because you're racist. They thought that might help. They thought that might silence some of the criticism, but it didn't. The end result was that Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, got absolutely annihilated by fans and by Tolkien fans who were telling people from the beginning that this is not Tolkien, this is not Lord of the Rings, this is not Middle Earth, this is a bastardization of the lore with identity politics injected in. And that's what played out in front of our very eyes. We saw it was a ratings disappointment for a movie or for a show that cost $700 million just for one season and over $1 billion for 2 seasons. And we've only got 8 episodes so far. It is a complete unmitigated disaster, the type of numbers that this thing was pulling. That's why Amazon's been silent about it ever since. But you know someone who's not being silent? The cast of the Rings of Power, who repeatedly called fans racist. The fans who simply said, hey, this isn't Tolkien. The fans that said, hey, this is what Tolkien wrote and what you're doing goes directly contrary to that. Those same people that got labeled racist for weeks and for months by the mainstream media and by Amazon themselves, well, those actors aren't done calling those fans racists. The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power actors continue to attack Tolkien fans as racists. Multiple Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power actors continued to attack fans of creator J.R.R. Tolkien and his works as racists, as their show is exposed to audiences being a black hole of creativity. Ishmael Cruz Cordova, who played Arondir, Sophia Namvet, who played Princess Disa, and Cynthia Adai Robinson, who played Queen Regent Muriel, spoke with Variety where they were asked about a supposed racist backlash to the casting. Cruz responded saying, the fact the attention was shifted towards that shows you what the power of shows like this is. The fact that it hit that nerve, that our being in it created such a response, just brings attention to the greatness of fantasy, the greatness of Lord of the Rings, and why it's actually good that we're here. So the fact that we intentionally violated canon in order to have diversity hires, that we intentionally did this, destroyed the lore, that shows you how good Lord of the Rings actually is. These people have defiled J.R.R. Tolkien's legacy time after time, not just in the castings, but obviously the entire way that this season played out. They have no respect for Tolkien. They don't know what they're talking about. Sophia Namvet, she was the woman that was saying, I'm the first female dwarf at Tolkien. No, she wasn't. They're sitting there in the Hobbit movies they're in there. And of course, they've been described in the books and stuff as well. But she is so stupid. She's not actually a fan. She's just trying to push out woke, nonsensical propaganda. That's what all these people are doing. Did it become a bit too much? Absolutely. It's taken airtime from the depth of who we are as artists. But it shows you where we are in the world and how much work we still have to do. I'm very grateful it's us who are able to recalibrate, break form, reshape, and make history. Compare this to the reaction for House of the Dragon. Because House of the Dragon, they race swapped some characters. I still disagree with those race swaps, but when you did see it play out, it made a little bit more sense than I initially thought it would make. However, when you compare what people were talking about before to after, the difference is House of the Dragon's good. The people they cast, the way it was written, everything about House of the Dragon is good. So it wasn't a point of contention. The reason people are blasting Rings of Power so much, even after we've actually seen it, is because it's terrible. And ironically, a lot of the focus obviously is on only the things you can see before you actually have the series come out. So it was the castings, it was the way they were speaking about how they wanted to make Tolkien for the modern world, how they wanted to bastardize Tolkien. But then once it came out, not only did you have those existing problems, you had the fact that this is a terrible, horrific show. To call it CW is almost an insult to CW. Adai Robinson then shared her thoughts, and her character absolutely was race swapped. In order to have such an impact, the pendulum has to swing. We're right in the middle of that process. We just want to normalize. We want to discuss it because we're now in a space in society where need to, now and again, acknowledge exactly what is happening. Well, what's happening is you have a series of people that don't actually care about Tolkien, that don't care about the source material, that just want to put their own identity politics into it. That's what's going on right now. And of course, these people coming out and labeling anybody that criticizes them breaking the lore as racists. That is absolutely fucking pathetic. Tears have been shed, blood has been spilled metaphorically, but we are here. And what did Sophia Namvet say? To answer your question, we still get a ton of controversy, but there's been a shift. You know what there has been? It feels like there's been a sit down. It feels like we had to prove ourselves. We had to defend ourselves. But it's undeniable that these people are in a position that they are to deserve to be in and should be there. There's nobody else that could have played the role. Really, there's nobody out there that could have played the role of an overweight dwarf? I don't know about that, Sophia. I genuinely feel there's been a shutdown. I've even had apologies, which I love, even if it were just one person acknowledging that the frame of mind was wrong. And we've gone over this. There was no evidence of any actual racist backlash. I'm sure there was one or two people in comments that said a bad word, an edgy word, these anonymous fucking profiles. The vast majority of people know that simply wasn't the case. It was trying to gaslight everyone. Were there criticisms of the cast of some specific characters because of their race? Absolutely, because it goes contrary to the source material. That's what everybody was talking about. But this idea, this victimhood they're putting out there, the way they're trying to paint fans as racist is absolutely disgusting. And it hasn't even stopped now that the show is mercifully over. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.